Hello, welcome to Emily Kate Made This. I am Emily Kate and I'm coming to you from Berlin in Germany, and welcome back to another knitting machine episode. First of all, thank you very much to everybody who watched my last video. It got more views than like the majority of my videos, so thank you. And hello to everybody who's new, because about 70% of the people that watched were new viewers, so that's exciting. And we're going to continue with some knitting machine mayhem today. This is a little bit different because usually I would say I'm going to knit a vintage pattern, but this time I'm going to use a vintage machine to knit a modern pattern. The pattern in question is the Mount Pleasant Tea by Pip and Pin. I'm clutching the pattern here so I wouldn't forget the name. How can I forget Pip and Pin? I forgot again. So this is the story. I have wanted to make this tea for, I'm going to say about 3 years, could be 4. Not sure when I saw it. I definitely bought it a lot later than when I had planned. Like, I wanted to make it, but I didn't buy the pattern for a couple of years. So the pattern came out in 2017 and it's pretty popular, and I have been eyeballing it for a long time, and the reason I haven't made it is because it had a lot of stockinette and I just did not want to knit stockinette by hand, like all of that by hand on fingering weight yarn. It's kind of a weird place in my brain where I can knit a vintage pattern that's stockinette and tiny stitches, and that's totally fine, but a modern pattern, oh, no. I know, it makes no sense, but nonetheless, that is what I wanted to make for years, and I even had yarn for it. And I purchased this yarn in 2022, and it's Keats Garn, and I will put a picture of what it looked as a skein. I don't know if it's a skein or a ball. Anyway, the lovely yarn. There should be pictures. I purchased this hand-dyed yarn from Keats Garn in 2022 as it was a surprise. It was a Wundertüte surprise bag, and I had no idea what colours would arrive, but some beautiful, beautiful yarns arrived, and then I never used them because they were too beautiful, and I could not bring myself to make socks with such expensive, beautiful hand-dyed yarn. So it stayed in a bag for years. And I always wanted to make this top with those yarns, but one of them is 365 meters per 100 grams, and one of them is 425 meters per 100 grams, and the pattern says you're going to need 2 skeins. And I couldn't buy another one even if I wanted of either of them because they were one of a kind yarns. Basically, if anything went wrong, like the colour was supposed to come out more pink or more purple, or it was an experimental yarn, and Keats Garn just decided not to sell them, or they weren't usable for, they didn't come out the right colour that they were meant to, then she sells them off as a surprise bag because they're still beautiful yarns, they're just not part of her colour scheme. Does that make sense? Anyway, I couldn't buy more even if I wanted to, but I really wanted to use those 2 yarns together. So for some reason, I couldn't bring myself to do it in case it went wrong or something. I don't even know. And I've now decided, now that I have my new friend, we will try this out together. So let us adventure forth into the new project. Yay! Okay, so I have one of these which is more of a leading towards sport weight. It's 365 meters per 100 grams, and the other one, whichever one it is, you are 365 meters and this one's 425 meters. And I want to make a top, and I'm not sure which one to go with first because I'm pretty sure I will need both, but obviously they're different weights. But they're so pretty and so similar in colour, and I really don't know what else to make with them. So I'm going to do some swatches and see what they look like. Okay, this was on 4, tension 4, then a bit higher it was tension 6, and now this one is tension 8. So let's do some counting. The tension 4, I don't think that's going to be 6 stitches per inch, do you? No. Tension 4 was 9 stitches, tension 6 was 8 stitches, and tension 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think perhaps tension 10? That seems extreme. Tension 10 it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The only time you will see me doing a swatch. Okay, tension 8 gets me the same almost. It's 6 stitches by 9, and this one is 6 stitches by 8, which is correct for the pattern. They are actually very different in real life, which is slightly concerning. I don't know if they're going to work in one project. This is a 100 gram skein, and yet it still weighs 100. Okay, so the plan is to use this darker one, 365 meters per 100 grams. I have knitted the first half, so I did all the stitches that I needed to plus an extra one on each side, and I have just threaded through this yarn, which FYI, which side? I put the thread through this little hole, so when I knitted, well, purled that last row, it carried it all along for me, so now if I make any mistakes on the machine and have to go drop back, I don't have to redo all of this. It is all saved and rescued here. Now I just have to remember to put this on with the purl side facing me onto the machine, otherwise it will be a disaster. Then I'm going to try and do a little switcheroo. I'll do one row in this colour, one in this, one there to kind of blend, so that the rest of the t-shirt can be made in this yarn, because this one is 425 meters and will hopefully make the whole t-shirt. And going by my calculations, this I need to use about 30-ish, 30 grams in order to have enough yarn for this one for the pattern, because it says for size 2 I'll need 497 meters. I have 425 meters, so I'm trying to use as much as possible of this one for this piece and for the back piece, so that I will not run out. Oh, fingers and toes crossed, it works. Okay, so I did alternate the skeins, and then as soon as I stopped alternating, you can really see this section, but I don't know, I don't think I'll mind. It is quite obvious, but yeah, I don't really mind. Anyway, this might be the back, it might be the front, who knows? But yay, it's growing. So that I do not forget, I have knitted the amount of stitches that I needed, and then I put all of these in the holding position, and then when I had knitted this, I put all of those into the holding position, so I only knitted to this needle. Now I'm going to bind off the stitches and knit back. Oh, getting there, getting there. Onto the back piece. I have bound off the neck, and as per the front, I forgot about my seaming stitches, so I have gone off count again, but these guys are on hold, and I am now working on this shoulder. it is done. It is done. Can I fit in this shot? Absolutely not. Just about maybe. Done. I only managed to do some finished object videos and pictures with my hair still up in its knot. So I should probably take some more. So I am incredibly happy with the outcome. I was a little bit nervous when I was knitting, and I actually thought originally that this was a drop shoulder, meaning that you'd pick up more stitches and knit longer. But when I realised that it was just knitted like a couple of increases and then that was that, I thought this is never going to fit me. This is not going to be 34 inches it was supposed to be, but it is all okay. It does indeed fit. I had a moment of panic, but overall, success was had. I did have to, it was so kind of ironic really. I touched on this last time and then I got distracted by my own thoughts and never actually managed to convey what I was trying to do in my last video. I said it's ironic and then never explained what I was talking about. What I wanted to say was it's ironic that I bought this machine so that I could do all the ribbing on the machine and then enjoy knitting everything else, and I've ended up using my machine to knit all of this but doing all the ribbing by hand. So the little ribbing here and here, and of course I did the lace by hand. 2 reasons, one being I enjoy doing lace, I want to knit the fun parts, and second, I just don't know exactly how to do it on my machine and it's so finicky. Don't think it's as fun. Like, it's definitely possible, but there isn't much joy for me, at least not yet. Perhaps later I will find some joy in it, but at the moment I'm enjoying doing the fun parts. I will have to be honest and say my hands did not find it as fun. The lace was really lovely to knit, but my hands were so sore. And what was it, 6 rows of this took me an hour and a half and it was just so much hand pain, so I ended up having to have a couple of days off, and yeah, it's annoying, but c'est la vie, that's how it is. But the end result is here. I definitely, let me get the yarn, I definitely wouldn't have had enough of this. I've only got 15 grams left, so I'm glad that I had the backup. I don't know if it's coming off in camera quite the same. It looks quite a big difference here, but when I'm looking at it in real life, I can see there's a difference, but it doesn't look quite as intense as it seems to when I take photos. But I'm actually very happy with this. I almost managed to match it. I did 2 extra rows in this on the back by accident, but oh well, it's fine. So everything was done in this except the lace, which I did in this one. And there's about 80 grams or something left of this one, so I wouldn't have had enough, I don't think, at least comfortably, to have done the lace, and I like it how it is, but I do now have this miscellaneous amount left, and about 80 grams as I said, so I have 2 plans for this. Number 1, I did think I would do some no-show socks. Then my friend said, but it's so pretty, why would you make socks you can't see? And I thought that's a very good point. And also, 80 grams, I don't need that much yarn to make no-show socks. The small ones you put inside shoes so you can't see the socks, but you are wearing socks. This would actually make almost a full pair of socks, so I should just do that. But equally, I have another project that I'm planning and I might not have enough yarn. Same story. Might not have enough yarn, but there's also another lace section that I might be able to do in this, or maybe this, if I run out. So I will wait on any sock excitement until I have started that top, but you will see that another time. I am so happy that I finally have this t-shirt, and that I finally used this yarn, and that it's actually now July and it's really just like wet and windy and the weather's just a bit pants, which means it's optimal light knitwear weather. So yay! So happy. Do I have anything else I want to say? Oh, I don't know if I mentioned any of the important information. I knitted the second size, which is size small. I knitted, and that is supposed to give a finished measurement of 34 inches, and I did get gauge, so it's a miracle, and I can do gauge swatches now that I have my machine, because I'm not doing that by hand, but now my machine can do it in very, very fast amounts of time. So gauge swatch fits. What else? I used 3.25 and 3.5 millimeter needles for the lace. It recommends 3.75, but me, lace, and I was doing it flat, obviously. The pattern's in the round. I converted this to being flat for my machine, so I would have to purl the rows, and that was always looser. So my purl rows I did 3.25 millimeter needles, and my knit rows I did 3.5 millimeter needles. And my ribbing I did on 3 millimeter needles. I think that's it. So I am absolutely terrible at remembering to say this, but if you like this content, please like, and if you haven't subscribed already, then please do. Then you'll get notifications every time I post a video. It really helps with the algorithm because YouTube just doesn't always want to show the videos to people. So if you do like it, press the like, thank you, and then other people will get to see my videos. Also, you can find me on emilykatemadethis as emilykatemadethis on Instagram, Coffee, and that's it. Ravelry. See, told you I'm not very good at remembering and apparently speaking. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on my next knitting machine adventure. Thanks, bye.